Hi guys, this is section 2.4, part 1 of geometry, and we're going to learn how to use algebraic proofs and properties to solve an equation. So this will be our first attempt at some proofs. Some properties we're going to use. Anytime we're adding the same thing to both sides is the addition, and then you see subtraction, multiplication, division. And then the substitution property is if we know what A equals and what B equals, and they're the same, we can say, okay, A and B can be changed depending on what I need. So take a second, look through these because we're going to be using these a bunch today. All right, let's solve our first one. Now, the way we solve these is what we call proofs. Now, we're going to do 3-column proofs. So this is where we have the equation, and basically we're just solving. Then over here, we're going to have our explanation. And then over here is our reason. So easiest way to solve algebraic proofs is to write it and then just solve it. And remember, to solve these, we do D, C, M, SADMAP, which stands for distribute, combine like terms, move your variables, and then use inverse operations. So I have no distributing, no combining like terms, so I'm going to move my variables to both sides. So I now have 7x plus 2 equals 23, minus 2 from both sides, 7x equals 21, divided by 7, and x equals 3. Okay. So we've got it done. And now we write our explanation. And essentially that just means you write what you did. So what was the first thing we did? We wrote our equation. Why did we do that? Because it was given to us. So then we added 4x to both sides. We're going to use BS for both sides. So we're going to be writing that word a lot. The reason I know I can do this is the addition property of equality. Then we rewrote by combining like terms. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm just simplifying. Then next, we subtracted 2 from both sides. The reason I know I can do that is the subtraction property of equality, which says you can subtract the same thing from both sides. Then again, we combined like terms. The reason I can do that is because I'm just simplifying. We then divided by 7 on both sides. The reason for that is the division property of equality. And then finally, we're done. For algebraic proofs, you don't need to say why or what reason you have for knowing that x is 3. We filled the rest out. So over here in your equation, you're solving. On the explanation part, you're writing in words what you did. And then the reason is using your properties. If you're just rewriting, that's simplifying. And again, you don't need to justify the last step. So that's algebraic proofs. Let's look at maybe another one or two. But really, as long as you can solve an equation, you can do algebraic proofs. So let's just look at this one. So we've got our equation. This is where we're going to solve. We've got our explanation where we're going to write in words. And we've got our reason where we're going to use our properties to justify. So I've got 6x minus 11 equals negative 35. Now, like I said earlier, I like to go ahead and solve it before I worry about anything else. So add 11. 6x equals negative 24. Divide by 6. X equals negative 4. All right, so let's write out each step. The first thing I did is I wrote the equation. The reason I can do that is it was given. I then added 11 to both sides. Well, that's the addition property of equality. I then rewrote by combining like terms. That's just simplifying. I then divided by 6 on both sides. That's the division property of equality. And there's my answer. So I don't need to justify this step. So there you go. That's solving an algebraic proof. You just solve each step, write what you did in words, and write what property or why you know you can do it. So last property we're going to look at is distributive property. You guys already know this property, but if you don't, here it is. That's the one where I like to use the arrows. So take a second if you need it, pause the video, write this down if it's that important to you. So let's do one with distributing. So here it is, and we're going to write the equation. This is just where we're going to solve. Explanation where we're going to write in words what we did, and then the reason where we're going to use our properties to explain. So our equation, negative 5 times 7w plus 8 equals 30. So remember, it's DCM SADMAP. So I'm going to distribute. So negative 35w minus 40 equals 30. Add 40 to both sides. Negative 35w equals 70. Divide by negative 35. W is negative 2. So now we explain what we did. Well, first thing I always do is write my equation. The reason I know I can do that is because that was the equation that was given to us. Then it looks like I distributed, so what that really means is I'm just multiplying, and that's the distributive property. We then added 40 to both sides. That's the addition property of equality. Rewrote, so combine like terms. Reason for that is I'm just simplifying. Then I divided negative 35 on both sides. That's the division property of equality. And there's my answer. So I don't need to justify that last step. And there we go. That's solving algebraic proofs. Now you might be wondering, well, why do we need to do this? Well, the reason is when we get to more difficult proofs, or when we start doing more proofs, this is kind of the process you do. You say, okay, I know this, so this. Okay, because of this, and then you keep going until you get to where you want to be. So, I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it.